to do something that has meaning, I think. To do something that's not like totally unnecessary and stupid. And also to, see a lot of the world and get to know different things and, have an interesting life and not a boring one.
Hello, my name is Criado-Perez and you're listening to Are You an Artist? Today's episode is with Lara Betz, who speaks about communication, journalism, but also invisible women. A fantastic episode in which Lara shares her curiosity and what is important to her in her work and life. So Lara Betz speaking now. I'm always kind of happy with recordings.
Yeah.
Just don't do.
Okay, I try to.
No, but
sometimes I use like fill words, like.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
But that's fine.
And make some little mistakes.
Actually, you're probably too professional to do a podcast recording.
Oh, I'm not sure.
You're gonna use your journalist voice or something.
Well, but I don't do like journalism for TV or radio, so
okay.
I'm not that used to speaking.
Okay, great. So you're not too professional. Perfect.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start by reading out a letter I've written to you.
Oh.
Dear Lara, I met you 14 years ago during a school exchange, which really motivated me to improve my German. Your French was very good. You were kind, clever, and funny. That was it. I wanted to be your friend. I think this happened as we are still visiting each other. Although my German is not as good as 14 years ago, kein Problem, we can speak in English.
Yes.
And I know that you studied journalism and communication, that you would love to be your friend's interior designer, that you visited many museums growing up, and that you recently started abstract painting.
Yes.
So, Lara, are you an artist?
Maybe. It depends on how you define being an artist, but I might be. Maybe not in the traditional way of painting stuff, but maybe also in the way of writing texts and being creative in kind of different ways, like writing journalist stuff or making videos or photography, and also making abstract paintings. But that's only a little part of my life. So mostly being creative in a like communicative way. I might be an artist.
And when you eat a beautiful pizza in Italy, is that art?
Good question. I don't know. I think the art of making the pizza that's probably art. Of making a great Italian pizza, that might be art. Eating it, I don't think so, actually.
So what do you think would be your definition of artist?
An artist is a person who's creative, and that can be in many different ways. Mm-hmm. So you can get creative by painting, you can get creative by making a sculpture, maybe, but also you can be creative like with digital media, for example, making a video, making a podcast, stuff like that. So an artist can be lots of different things. Can be a dancer, can be theater. It's kind of like an open field.
Yeah.
And it can grow and change, I think.
So do you think artists can stop being artists?
No, I don't think so.
Someone is ringing.
Yeah. I think you'll probably always stay an artist. And
Eline from the montage, there was a delivery, so great start, yay! But don't worry, here is the next part of the recording. So, back to the beginning.
Yeah.
What's your first creative memory?
My first creative memory. Well, when I was a kid, we did lots of creative stuff. So my mom, especially, she sometimes like painted stuff with us, or she gave us materials to build stuff. And we had sometimes these kind of like, we met other kids and then they joined us in like doing something creative in a way. Like we once built like it was actually a snail, but it was huge, and we built that out of paper mache.
Wow.
And, stuff
a
like
snail?
that.
That must have been really complex.
Yeah, it actually was. Like I think you put like wires, and then you build the structure, and then you put the paper mache on it,
That's
and
not
then
for
afterwards
kids.
we painted it.
It's actually for like super experienced artists.
I don't know how old we were. Maybe like, I don't know, 8 or something.
Okay.
So it's not my first creative memory, but that was like kind of stuck in my head because it was a huge snail afterwards. And then we painted it, and we did that with friends. But I think my mom and the parents of my friends, they kind of like thought about it and then bought the material, and then we all got together and did it. But besides that, when I was a kid, we also like did like little theater productions kind of. So for example, my brother once like made a puppet show for me when I was a kid. So.
Nice. So he made the show for you?
Yeah.
To perform it for you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is nice.
Yeah. So I think we did lots of those things when I was a kid. So that's kind of my first creative memory. And also we went to a lot of museums when I was a kid. So at first I was kind of bored lots of times. So I always like went to sit somewhere and wait for my parents.
Wait for the goûter, right?
Yeah.
Always wait for the goûter. Yeah. The time to eat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but then later on I really liked going to the museums, and now I'm going on my own as well. So
when was the turning point when you started liking it?
I think when I was a teenager, maybe when I was like 15, 16. And it also depended on the museum, because like if you see a lot of the same stuff, then it might get boring, but there are lots of different museums you can go to. So yeah, I think probably when I was a bit older then.
Nice. And what did you want to do when you were a child?
I wanted to be an actor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I always thought I would be like in movies and become famous.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And yeah.
I mean, there's still time.
Yeah, there is, but
Lara Betz.
I don't think I want to be famous anymore. So like, I think that dream kind of changed at some point.
Okay.
That was just like when I was a kid, I wanted to become an actress. So something I thought about doing.
And now you would not like to be famous?
It depends. Like, if it happens, I wouldn't mind, but
it's not like purpose.
It's a purpose. I think when I was a kid, like you see all these great movies and you see all these famous actors, and then it sounds good and it looks good, but then after a while you realize that that's maybe not your purpose in life and that there's lots of other interesting stuff to do. I mean, I still think actors are really cool, and it's cool if you like are a good actor, but it's also, I think, really hard to get into that, and it's a kind of a hard job, and it's just not wanna do anymore. So.
And then you wanted to be an interior designer.
Yeah. Actually, I always wanted to be a writer.
Okay.
And that's kind of still a dream back in my mind, but that's like, you can be many things simultaneously. So I could be a writer and then something else. So at some point I thought like, I want to be an interior designer because I like furnishing and I like decorating.
Beautiful flat.
Yeah, and I like to I also like to read a lot about interior design or like watch videos and like learn about different periods of time where things were designed differently.
Okay.
And then after my A-levels, I went abroad, and then I thought about like going into interior design, and then I thought like it might be a bit hard and might be like more of a hobby for me and not like my profession.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got into journalism, and then like journalism and communication, and because that's also closer to writing. So
yes,
it's closer to one of my kind of original dreams. So,
and what's your dream, or is your dream like writing a book or a novel or more articles or
a book actually, or novel, kind of like a fictional story.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know what about yet. I had lots of ideas, and I also started some things, and then like at some point I realized, okay, it's not that good. But yeah, I mean, while studying, I also didn't have much time to continue something because I was studying and working, and you do lots of stuff, and I don't know, I think I need to take time to do that. But it can be like a long time project, and it can be a project for the future. And also, maybe I will become a writer.
I mean, you did write a master thesis.
Yeah, I did that. Yeah.
So you're kind of a writer.
Yeah, kind of.
And do you know, like, you wanted to work in communication because of this writing willingness? This is really not correct English, but or is it that also like you had something else in the media that was like, oh, I really want to?
Yeah, it's actually several things. So I wanted to write, and I really like writing, but I also like videography and photography, and like combining it to like make multimedia projects kind of. And I like to communicate about things that matter kind of. So my dream actually is to communicate for something where I can see a purpose in it, and I can see like that it does something good for the world kind of. So like communications for NGO work, for example, or for something good where you can say, okay, I really believe in that and I want to communicate for it. So it's kind of like both.
Yeah. And what's the biggest thing that you learned during your studies?
That's a good question. The biggest thing. Wow. I don't know. I learned a lot. So,
or an example, it doesn't have to be the biggest.
Yeah.
Something that you like now we can say, oh, my studies were really, really useful because of this.
Yeah. Well, I learned a lot of like practical stuff on how to do that and this, and how to make good multimedia projects kind of like in different fields. And
how do you do a good project?
Oh wow.
Like what's the most important thing?
I think you have to like always keep in mind what you're doing it for or who you're doing it for. And then like you have to adapt all the things to that kind of goal.
Yes.
So you don't just always do the same thing, but you adapt it to maybe the topic, or maybe your like the person you're aiming it to kind of I don't know how to say that in English.
Yeah, I think it's
and yeah, so the project can be very different and very like always depending on what you want to do and what you want to accomplish.
Mm-hmm. And is this why also you moved to Hamburg to work for communication, because it's the media city of Germany?
Yeah. I moved to Hamburg. Like that had different, like a lot of reasons. Hamburg
because it was cool.
Yeah, that too. So Hamburg is kind of the media city of Germany, and that was one of the reasons. So to not only think about like where is a good university and where you can like do a good course, but also where there are good jobs for the future and where you can get into all different kinds of media organizations and also other workplaces. But also, well, Hamburg is a great city, so I really wanted to move to a great city and a big city as well, because I'm from a very tiny place. And that was one of the reasons. And also, when you start your bachelor at the University of Hamburg, you had not only the kind of main studies, but you also had something called Nebenfach, which is like you get to study a different topic, but you don't have to earn as much credit points while studying. And the University of Hamburg has anthropology. And I really wanted to do that as the second thing, because I'm really interested in different cultures. So I thought, okay, why not choose a university with an interesting thing I can do while studying media and communication.
Okay, so you did that as well.
Yeah. But only in the bachelor, because then in the master you only have one thing. And then I did journalism and communication studies.
And you're really interested as well, like in cultures and languages, right?
Yeah.
I thought you would be a translator when I was younger, because also your French was super good compared to other people. And I was like, wow, she's just gonna translate.
Yeah, I thought about that as well. Like before starting my studies, I thought like, why not become a translator? And I still really like that. But I think you can still like make use of knowing so many languages while working, for example, in journalism or communications. So one of my student jobs, like a few years back, I worked at an NGO for children's rights, and they always had these, it was called like case studies, coming from many different countries in the world. And they were like stories of people who did something in the project of this organization. And then the texts were sometimes in English, sometimes in French, sometimes in Spanish. And then I had to translate them. And
do you speak Spanish as well?
Yes.
Okay.
I learned Spanish in school, and then I did another course in university. So
okay.
Yeah. I think my French is maybe a bit better than my Spanish, but it's enough to translate stuff.
Oh, wow.
So I translated these texts to be able to put them on our website, so that people can read about what they did in the projects and what they learned. And so it can be quite useful to know so many languages, even if you're not a translator, but work in different fields. Also very good if you want to go to a different country.
True. And how do you feel when you start a new project?
I'm excited because I'm looking forward to starting a new project, and I'm looking forward to what's coming next, and I think mostly excited. Sometimes I might be a bit afraid of what's gonna come, but I think probably mostly excited.
But maybe also excitement has to come with a bit of fear.
Yeah.
To be really like, ooh.
Yeah, probably.
So you're not completely chill, you know?
Yeah.
And so like, do ideas come to you easily when you start something new and is it easy for you to have the ideas of which directions to take? And
not always, because I think to have great ideas, you have to have the time to think about stuff. And I feel like sometimes I had that in some of my student jobs, that like when I'm really stressed and there's a lot of things to do, and then there's a kind of creative task where I have to have a great idea to fulfill it, and I'm stressed, it's kind of hard to take the time to think about it and think of other possibilities, and like, because like maybe I have an idea, but maybe it's not the best one. So if I have time, I can think about like which idea would be best, maybe. So I think I sometimes need a chill environment and a bit time to have good ideas, maybe.
But I was thinking, because it's a super mature decision to come to Hamburg to study, but also to think, okay, then I can work there. Like, I feel like in Germany, more people after high school, they take a year abroad or something, which we don't really do in France, but probably it also helps to give you the space, right, for kind of ideas to come, kind of what do I want to do and stuff like this.
Yeah.
So
for me, it really did.
Is that why you travel that much as well?
Yeah, because I took a year off, and then when I finished my A-levels, I thought I was gonna be an interior designer, and I had like my travels kind of planned out, and then I thought, okay, I'm gonna travel like from, I think it was maybe August to, I don't know, December, and then I'm gonna have an internship in like a factory where they do upholstery, because that would be a requirement for the interior design studies. So I had that lined up already. And then I went to Florence to learn Italian for a month.
Okay, so you also speak Italian?
Yeah, a bit, like a tiny bit.
You're a genius.
And then I went to New York to see my family, and then I went to New Zealand and Australia. And then while traveling and being there, I thought, okay, interior design, I really like that, but maybe it's not like what I want to do as a job. Maybe I want to do something else. So that kind of taking that time and then seeing other things and having the time to really think about your decisions, I thought, okay, I'm not gonna do the study. I'm gonna kind of like tell the internship I'm not gonna do it. And when I got back to Germany, I got another internship at a newspaper to like kind of prepare for, or to look into if I want to do journalism and communications. So
nice.
For me, it really helped to have this year to think about stuff and see different places. Yeah.
That's really sweet. And what's your favorite part of the creative process? Is that this first excitement?
Yeah, the excitement.
Or when you're done.
And also like kind of doing it as well. Like it depends. Like, well, it sometimes can be stressful, but like if you do something creative, like while doing it, that's actually really cool. So for example, for university, for my master's, we had to do a journalistic video for Instagram, and we did that in pairs. So I did it with a friend, and while filming the video and editing and stuff like that, that's actually really fun. So I really like that. And then when it's finished and you see the final product and it's really good, then of course that's really cool.
You put your sunglasses and you're like, yes.
Yes.
And what do you like the most in your work?
Getting to know different people, different places, different things, and then not always doing the same stuff, but kind of every day can be different. I think that's it, like that it's changing and you get to do and learn different stuff. I think that's what I like the most.
And did you get a lot of opportunities with your previous job to do this, to meet people, to
Yeah, I would say so. So the first job I did was actually working in journalism. That was even before my studies.
Mm-hmm.
I did that for over half a year, I think. And there in journalism, you really get to see so many different things because you go to events and then you write about it, you meet new people and so on. So this is really a great possibility to do that. And in my other jobs, I also you don't always go somewhere. Maybe if you work in communications, some days might be kind of the same, but also you learn a lot of stuff, and depending on where you work, you get to see different things and do different projects. So I really got to do that.
That's really cool. And do you have a favorite newspaper or a company you really want to work for?
Well, I have there are some good newspapers. For example, Die Zeit, which is a weekly newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
So the articles are more in depth. So you when you read it, you mostly know what has happened, but they have in-depth articles where you learn a bit more, and it's a bit deeper kind of.
Yeah, I never thought about that, because when you have to release it for the next day, it's so fast. You have to work so fast, right?
Yeah, it's very fast, and also kind of every news outlet has to have the same or has mostly the same news then.
Yes.
Because all the big news, they probably all have it. So
and you don't have the space and distance.
Yeah.
From the events to kind of understand them better, right?
Yeah, exactly. So weekly newspapers there, you can take your time, make in-depth or investigative research. So that's kind of interesting. So that's one of the newspapers I mostly read because that's super interesting. But to work, since I'm actually right now more thinking about going into communications and not so much journalism, I really love to work at an NGO.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe human rights, children's rights, or environmental. So there are some possibilities where I could see myself working.
So anyone who listens and who could hear you.
Yeah.
I can say that I don't know how Lara works, but I think it's really good.
Thank you.
It would be so funny that you get a job through this.
Yeah, it would be great.
Who knows? I mean, and what was a day like in your previous job like? So you arrive at work, and what do you do?
So in my previous job, I was mostly responsible for the website,
Mm-hmm.
or at the end we had 3 websites. So I would start by looking at my emails first, but then looking if I have to change something, because we had programs and events where on the website you have to say, okay, this is happening there, and you can apply here and stuff like that. So, for example, if there was a program and the application phase was over, I had to remove the button and then change the website so it would be up to date. So I would first do stuff like that. So kind of...
So super technical. And you were doing also the SEO and things like this, or?
Yeah. Yeah. We also had a plugin to help you with that.
Okay.
But when I started there, I watched a lot of videos on how to do SEO and what to pay attention to. So I did that as well. And
maybe you could teach me.
Yeah, I can. If you want, I can. Yeah. So I did a lot of those things. Then depending on the day, sometimes I made social media posts or a blog post. or I help my colleagues to do things like that.
And did you also have to learn about algorithm and things like that, or not that much?
A bit, because I did something called performance marketing, which means you look at the data and analyze how the post performed. So that was also part of my job.
Okay.
I did that for the website, but also for the social media channels.
Maybe I could hire you.
So like if you had these professional tools and you can look, like, for example, how many people clicked on this and that link, or how many people have been on the website, how many people saw this video on Instagram and stuff like that. And then I would kind of like analyze it and see what kind of post performs the best. So then I could see, for example, on LinkedIn, videos are not that good. So like if you post something with a video, it's not going to perform as good as if you post something which has lots of pictures or where you tag a lot of people in it. So these are the best kind of posts. And then I could kind of analyze which algorithm does that. I mean, it can change, but I could see like for our post, the algorithm is better, or it seems to work better if we do this and that. And then if you analyze that, you can change your communicative style. And I did that as well.
And did you write anything at all, or you were just kind of taking care of the websites and posts?
I wrote as well.
Okay.
It depended kind of on the thing. So sometimes I wrote blog posts, sometimes social media posts, and sometimes text on the website. So sometimes my colleagues who were in charge of the programs, for example, sometimes they gave me already ready text. So, but sometimes I wrote some stuff or.
And do you feel like now you've gotten better at writing?
Yeah, I would think so. Because also at my other jobs, I did a lot of writing, and I think it's gotten better over time. Yeah.
And is there something you created that you are really proud of? It can be related to your jobs, but also like your abstract paintings or the snail.
Actually, in my bachelor studies, with a group of like, I think 4 people, we did a documentary film, and it was shown in a cinema in Hamburg.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a tiny cinema.
What was the title?
It's called Der zweite Akt. So I don't think you can find it anymore, because we wanted to post it on YouTube, but because of the people we
you didn't have the rights or something.
We had to like put it kind of in private.
Oh no!
Because the documentation, it was about a group of it was a theater group with senior citizens. And it was really cute because we followed them while practicing, and that was super interesting.
Oh, wow.
But that was kind of a few years ago. But that's something which took a lot of time and effort, and I learned a lot with it, because we did the camera work, we did the sound, we did like the editing and stuff, and that was really cool. But I guess there are probably many more things I would be proud of, like from my work as well. And also in my master's, we also sometimes did some practical things, like, for example, what I said before, the Instagram video where it was like a journalistic video, but for Instagram. And we also did a 360-degree video. It was also a documentary, and it was about a bunker in Hamburg. So in the video you can kind of like, because it's 360, it was shot with a 360-degree camera. You can it feels like you're walking through the bunker, and then you can listen to information about it.
Okay.
So these are projects I'd say I'm proud of.
That's nice. And do you prefer to work on your own or with people?
I think I like both, and it depends on the project. So if I write something, I think I prefer to do it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's like a multimedia thing, it often helps to have other people be working on it with you, and also to exchange ideas, and so you can come up with great ideas together. And I think I like both, depending on the project I'm doing.
And what type of artworks interest you the most now?
I think abstract art, actually, and impressionism as well, like what we saw yesterday. I really, really like that.
Do you have favorite painters or?
Not really, because I like lots of different painters. But I think right now I mostly like impressionism and abstract stuff, like also abstract sculptures and so on.
And what kind? Do you listen to music as well?
Yes.
What kind of music do you like?
Indie rock.
Ah, okay.
Or indie pop as well. Like there are a lot of great indie bands. Also, there are a lot of good German indie bands. But
okay. Do you want to share some names for?
Yeah, people? I can share some names.
Yeah.
They sing in English, so I don't really like to listen to people singing in German. I don't know why, but there's, for example, Giant Rooks.
Okay.
It's a German band, but they sing in English. And Kites, for example, or Milky Chance is also great. I'm not sure if Milky Chance might be considered pop even. I'm not sure if they're considered indie. I don't know. I don't know where the line is.
There's no line here. Everything is blurry and mixing, and we all love each other and we are one.
But I also like a lot of different music as well. So I think indie pop and indie rock is kind of like my go-to, and I really like to go to concerts as well. But I also like many different styles of music. So I had this record player, and I also listened to a lot of old stuff, and then it can be like very different stuff. And
like classical music or jazz music,
or jazz or
variety.
And sometimes if I'm in the mood, I listen to Frank Sinatra or something. So it can be like very different.
Nice. And you're also really interested in photography, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Do you have favorite photographers or?
I don't think I have a favorite.
Or any type of photography that you really like? Landscapes, people, portraits?
I actually love drone photography. And I bought myself a drone, like if you see things from the top.
I thought it was like drone from drawing. I was like,
no, like
what?
the drone,
the
like
flying drone.
Where you fly. Because I realized, like, if you scroll through Instagram, and I always thought like these photos or videos like with super great quality, which are shot from kind of above.
Yeah.
I really love that. So I got myself a drone to try it out.
So you have a drone here?
Yeah. If the weather would be nicer, then...
Afternoon plan is going to change.
I can show you some videos I took in France if you want. So
that would be nice. Maybe I could use it for the podcast extract as well. Exciting.
So I really love that. And I also love... architectural photography, so like interior design and architecture photography. So that's kind of what I most look at on Instagram, actually. So yeah,
sweet. And what's your favorite museum, you think? From old museums you visited?
Wow.
Or maybe you can have like a top 3 or a top 5.
Top 3. Well, there are a lot of great museums. Like if you want to look at a bit older art, then the Uffizi in Florence is really great. I don't know how they're pronounced in English. Uffizi.
I will check.
Maybe, yeah, it's the biggest one in Florence. That's really great. But I also went that's completely different, to the Museum of Modern Art in New York. So I really love that. And also in Philadelphia, I went to a very huge museum. I'm not sure what it's called, but also I think it's the biggest one there. I really like that because they had so many different things.
Okay.
And the Prado in Madrid is also kind of super cool. Yeah.
Good.
And in Madrid also the Reina Sofía is...
Okay.
That's also really interesting.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And as a human being, what is your strength?
My strength. I don't know. I don't want to be braggy or something. I think being kind. Well, at least that's what I'm trying to do, to always be kind to people. And be open-minded and patient as well, maybe. So
yeah,
maybe that's my strength.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't want to brag.
That's okay, Lara.
Maybe people see that very differently. I hope not, but...
And anything you would like to be better at?
There are probably a lot of things I would like to be better at. I always think I want to do more sport, actually, and I want to be more sporty because I really love to do Pilates and yoga and stuff, and then I start something and then I don't continue it. I want to be more invested in it and be better at doing it regularly, so I become more flexible or more sporty and more healthy as well.
Maybe you just haven't found your love right now.
Yeah, maybe.
You can keep exploring. And what scares you?
Wow. I think some political situations scare me, worldwide, with wars and stuff, but also kind of locally, seeing that right-wing politicians get elected and stuff like that kind of change. It scares me to see, politics changing to the worse.
Yeah. It's quite scary. Is that happening a lot in Germany?
Yeah. There was actually a huge protest against it last week.
Okay.
Because there's this party called AfD, and it's a right-wing party, and they had this meeting. I don't know how to summarize that well in English.
Fine,
but they had this meeting about wanting to throw people out of the country, kind of.
What a surprise!
Yeah, and then
so different from other countries.
So seeing that this party gets elected more and more, especially in some parts of Germany.
Yeah. Also, I just need to let people know that we are recording on the 26th of January.
Okay. Because
that might be posted way later. So just it's not, If things changed, we didn't know.
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's scary.
Yeah.
But hey. And do you want to be liked or approved, and by who?
I think I do. I think that's probably human to want to be liked. Yeah, I would say I want to be liked, but I wouldn't like bend over backwards to have to be liked. I think I want to be liked for who I am and not who I'm like
pretending
to be.
Mm.
So if people don't like me, okay, I have to like maybe get thick skin and say, so what? So I think it depends on the person and the situation. So if I don't really know the person and the person doesn't like me, I mean, it's fine. But if it's like a close friend, then I want my close friend to like me. So yeah, I'd say I want to be liked for who I am. But if not, and I'm not everybody's cup of tea, so it will be fine. I will survive.
And what's your strongest desire in life?
To do something that has meaning, I think. To do something that's not like totally unnecessary and stupid. And also to, see a lot of the world and get to know different things and, have an interesting life and not a boring one.
Good. Anyone who inspires you?
Wow. I don't think I have somebody in mind particularly, but I think there are a lot of people who inspire me in different kinds of ways. So a lot of my friends, you, for example, and
thank you.
Yeah, I think all the people close to me inspire me in different ways. So,
recently I feel also super inspired by all my friends, like by you, by people, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I feel lucky to have friends I'm inspired by.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Like a gift.
Yeah.
If you were an animal, what would you be?
I haven't thought about that one.
I'm trying to think as well now.
It can be so many different things. I mean, depending on like what kind of character aspect you're looking for. I don't think I'm anything dangerous. Or
I don't think so.
I'm not a crocodile or something.
Imagine the podcast lasts like 5 hours because you're just eliminating.
Yeah.
Like super slowly.
I actually don't know what I am. Something.
Maybe you're hybrid.
Yeah. Maybe my animal doesn't really exist in real life, so it's just a mixture of some animals. I'm sorry, I don't have a good answer to that question.
Well, that's very disappointing.
What do you think I am?
I don't know. It's a kind animal.
That's good.
But kind of calm and silent, but also quite productive. Not a lazy one, you know. An animal that does things, but maybe a
squirrel.
A what?
A squirrel?
Oh, maybe a squirrel. Yes, I think that's true.
Always doing stuff.
Yeah, maybe. Huh. And what's your favorite color?
It used to be blue. I really like different shades of blue, but right now I really love different shades of like orange, yellow, like you see in the flare, because I realized that this makes me happy.
Oh.
And I realized I started to buy lots of clothing in that color, like that color area.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So you bought clothing and then you were like, wait, why did I buy this color? And then you were like, I like this color.
Yeah, because like I realized like when I wanted to buy something, I was like, oh, I really love that color. And then I realized I was buying several stuff in that kind of color scheme. So
good sign.
Yeah.
And do you feel like you know yourself very well?
I think so. Yeah. I think sometimes I need to take my time to do some reflection and maybe like think about what's happened, where I am, what I want. And I didn't have much time to do that while doing my thesis recently. So, but in general, I think I know myself. Yeah.
And if you could meet your 15 years old self and say something, would you?
Yes. I would say that you should worry less about what other people think of you, because I remember when I was 15 and sometimes a bit insecure and then putting on too much makeup because I thought, okay, I'm not pretty enough, or well, always thinking about like how you look on the outside. Well, that's not what I was thinking about. Like, it was not the only thing I was thinking about when I was 15, but I think I was way more insecure about how I looked back then. And now I realize, okay, it doesn't matter. You don't have to think about that as much. But I think that's probably normal for teenagers, especially teenage girls, to
yes, I was thinking about that.
Think about their appearance and like be scared what other people think. So I think I would say to myself that I shouldn't like that affect me because it doesn't matter.
Now, what's your relationship to your appearance and your body?
It's better, I think.
Okay.
Because I've accepted that I'm okay like I am. And of course, sometimes I think about, oh, okay, I have to eat healthy and like, so I don't like get bigger or something. But I don't like care as much anymore.
That's nice.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
And do you have a favorite traveling memory?
I have lots of favorite traveling memories. But one of my favorite is that when I was 8 years old, my family and I went to the United States to
with the snail. The first the thing you created.
Okay.
Because I remember that you were 8 as well.
Yeah. I think I was 8. Maybe I was.
Okay.
I'm not too sure about about my age when I did
sorry.
the snail.
This was really stupid interruption. You can keep speaking.
Don't worry. It was funny. We went by plane.
Okay.
No, but like we saw all these huge national parks, like the Grand Canyon and stuff like that.
Wow.
And it was one of the first huge trips we took. And I think it really impacted me on wanting to travel so much.
Okay.
So that's one of my favorite memories, to like think about like being a kid and seeing all these incredible places. And I think that's something, which really made an impact on what I want to do and what I want to see in my life. But I mean, I traveled a lot, so there are lots of great memories. It's hard to pick just one.
And can some people annoy you? And why then? What annoys you?
I think when you have a conversation and people just keep talking about themselves and like, so it's like a monologue and not a conversation. And if it gets to I mean, I love to listen to my friends and I love to like hear stories about people.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with not having to talk about myself. So, but I think if you feel like it's a one-sided friendship,
then it's like a therapy.
It's
You're the therapist.
I'm a therapist, and like that can maybe annoy me, but it also depends on the situation. So sometimes that's totally fine. Sometimes people just need to talk and get it out. And I totally respect that. But I think if that happens like every time you meet, then it might be a bit one-sided.
Yeah. And do you have anything new that you would like to learn to do?
Yeah, I guess there are some things. Like, for example, I always wanted to learn to play the guitar.
Ooh.
I kind of started it a bit when I was a kid.
Do you have a guitar?
No, my mom has one. So then I tried a bit, but I didn't really finish because I was already learning to play the piano. So I didn't have much time then to do it professionally, kind of. And I always want to learn new languages. So that's kind of something in the back of my mind too.
Which one?
I'm not sure yet. Because right now I'm trying to learn a bit more Italian. So I'm doing the Duolingo thing. And because when I learned Italian in Florence, it was just like 1 month. And then afterwards, in university, I did a Spanish course again. So Spanish and Italian, they're so similar. So I get kind of mixed up sometimes. So at first I want to continue with the Italian, and then I'm going to look what language to learn next. And then I always want to learn more about doing good videos, for example, doing good photography, just not just pushing the button and seeing how it turns out, but learning how to do it more professionally.
Okay. Yeah. That's a good project for 2024.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot, yes. Yeah. And do you have any book recommendation?
Yeah, probably a few, depending on what kind of genre. But if it's non-fictional, there's a book called Invisible Women. And I really loved that. Well, it also made me very angry. I
did pick it up and I wanted to read it, but I thought I would not have the time.
Yeah, it
looks really good. No?
It's super interesting, but it took me a long time to read it because after every chapter, I was kind of pissed at the world.
Oh, wow.
Because it's lots of facts about how women are made invisible in the world. And it's every chapter has a different kind of field in the society. For example, there's a chapter on health issues, and there's one on technology, and you learn lots of different things, and it's all with statistics. And so it's all kind of
super true. Yeah.
And then I read it and I thought it was super interesting, but it also made me kind of angry to see how women are treated in our world, and how some things might improve, but not totally. Yeah. So that's a big recommendation. So, and I think everybody should read that, not just women. So
yes, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Wow. I'll definitely buy it.
Yeah, do that.
And any novel recommendation?
Yeah, I read a book recently which I really liked. It was called Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, and I just really liked it.
I like the title.
Yeah. It was really good. A friend of mine told me about it, and then I read it and I really liked it.
Okay.
And yeah, but there are lots of other books I really love.
Yeah, you read quite a lot as well.
Yeah, I read a lot. And yeah, there are lots of different and interesting books. For example, over Christmas I read, I don't know what the English title is, but
you
it's
can
a
say
book.
It in German.
It's called Menschenkind. It's written by Toni Morrison. So it's a bit older, and it's about slavery in the US. And it's super well written, I think. But it also makes you very angry. So
creating anger from your readings.
Yeah, well, I like to read books about like
Truth.
deep and true things, and they kind of sometimes make you angry, but they're also very interesting.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to read, and but very interesting. And also what I really thought was a well-written and interesting book was, it's called A Little Life. I think I have it up there. I don't know how to pronounce the author's name, but that's also hard to read, but well written, because it there's stuff about suicide and about child molestation, and it's super hard to read, but also interesting because you learn a lot of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful recommendations. Well, do you want to direct people who are listening to, I don't know, like your Instagram, LinkedIn, or some? Maybe you can also share with me an email address if people want to contact you. Or...
Yeah, maybe. I have to think about what's the best
yes, so you think about that, and I will put everything in the notes with the recommendations and everything.
Yeah.
But thank you so much.
Thank you
for sharing your time, and it was really nice.
Yeah, thank you.
If you enjoy this podcast, please give it a 5 stars on your favorite platform. It really supports me, and then I can interview all the artists of the world until I die. Merci!